Prince Charles and Camilla Parker-Bowles have sent their heartfelt thoughts to Australians affected by widespread flooding after record rainfall rocked Queensland and New South Wales. The Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall have issued a statement expressing their concern over events down under. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison declared a national emergency yesterday after two of the country's states were gripped by widespread flooding. The disaster in New South Wales and Queensland is estimated to have killed 20 people, according to the BBC. Charles, who one day looks set to become Australia's head of state, and his wife Camilla opened their letter by saying, "It was with great sadness that the couple had to express their distress, as well as immense concern and sympathy following yet another flooding incident." The Duke and Duchess added, "Having visited many of the affected areas over the years, I am deeply shocked by the extent of this flooding across rural areas, as well as in major cities such as Brisbane and Sydney." But Charles and Camilla championed the work of valiant volunteers, many of whom have been in small boats rescuing trapped neighbors and strangers. The Prince of Wales continued, "Our heartfelt thoughts are with those families and friends who have lost loved ones, and with the many thousands of people in Queensland and New South Wales whose livelihoods and businesses have received yet another blow after the privations caused by the COVID pandemic." However, Prince Charles, who has long been considered an environmentalist, went on to highlight how climate change might play a hand in the incident. He said, "These floods, along with the ferocious bushfires in Australia that shocked the world just over 2 years ago, remind us all that extreme weather events are becoming much more common. Climate change is not just about rising temperatures. It is also about the increased frequency and intensity of dangerous weather events, once considered rare." Charles concluded his message by expressing his untold sympathy to Australians whose lives have been devastated by the floods, but also admiration for the selfless role played by all those involved in the rescue and recovery efforts. He added, "My great admiration for the resilience, courage and compassion of the Australian people in moments like these knows no bounds." The heir apparent also found himself criticizing the Aussie Premier last year after suggesting Canberra was somewhat inactive when it came to tackling climate change. During a wide-ranging interview with the BBC's climate editor Justin Rowlett, Prince Charles was asked about what Scott Morrison's reluctant Australian government can do to protect the environment. "You gently try to suggest there may be other ways of doing things," he said. "Otherwise you lot accuse me of interfering and meddling, don't you?" Speaking at Balmoral, Mr. Rowlett also pointed out the Australian Premier isn't even certain he will be able to attend the COP26 summit. Charles replied, "Is that what he says, is it?" The prince then claimed this is a last-chance saloon to save the planet. "If we don't really take the decisions which are vital now, it's going to be almost impossible to catch up." Mr. Morrison did eventually decide he would join other world leaders at the COP26 summit in Glasgow.